Well, good afternoon, my dear viewer. It's my greatest of pleasures to be reporting to you today from White Rock. Now, there are many different theories as to why this city is called White Rock. The most prevalent of them being that obviously there's a white rock here on the beach. It's actually pretty cool. A huge, like, I don't know if you call it granite-sized boulder or mountain-sized granite boulder or what have you. The only thing that kind of takes away from the whole thing is it's not really white, but it's painted white. The actual city of White Rock is amazing. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to show you, but those are some of the amazing houses and whatnot, architecture up on the hill, and then it goes up over ridges and ridges. It's like a thingy-majig. Not confetti, but essentially, what's this thing where you have a collage of, let's say, Santa Monica, Seattle, corporate America, Florida maybe, Miami. But in any case, here we are at White Rock, next to the train tracks. And because we're in such a beautiful location, I've never been here before. I lived in Vancouver for 2 years, 2.5 almost. And I've never come to White Rock. But because we're here and it's such a nice day and I get to show you how gorgeous Canada is and all this kind of rubbish, I thought I'd whip out the phone and talk to you a little more about atheism versus religion and the central question of there being a God. So, what is God from a scientific perspective? God is the necessary uncaused cause. Unless you say everything's been around forever and there's no explanation, it's not even that there's no explanation. To say that things have been around forever, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family answered that line of thinking. You see, everything is changing and evolving. And you're changing and evolving. And you haven't been around forever. So how can everything else that's changing and evolving have been around forever? You're just going to say, well, it's a system of what exactly? It's just some stuff that's out there, and then there's laws that govern it, and they've just been floating around forever. I mean, you can be an ultimate kind of skeptic, and you can say, if you want to convince someone that things have been around forever, you can say, well, okay, so they've been around forever and there's an explanation behind it, but we just don't know what that explanation is, right? On the other hand, if you just think about it, intuitively you'll be repelled and repulsed by the idea that something can just have been around forever and there's no explanation. Now you'll say immediately, well, what about God? It goes back to self-pleading or special pleading. If you say the universe can't be around forever, what about God who created the universe? There's the lovely family. I'm actually here on my little brother's wedding. And that's my elder brother. He works for Goldman Sachs in Dubai, drives a golden Hummer, all this kind of rubbish. That's my dad. He's a atomic physicist PhD. Did his PhD at the University of Stirling in Scotland. That's my mum. She left home when she was 16 years old and went off to England. Married my dad, all this kind of stuff. I keep having to hold the camera on this side because I don't want the sunlight coming in your eyes, dear viewer, and it's actually exceedingly hard. It's another example of me putting my life and soul and blood and sweat and perspiration into creating these monstrosities, these so-called epitaphs of atheism. I'd like to think. Probably not going to be the case, but you never know. Think big, they say. So, I simply don't accept that the universe or things have been around forever. In fact, we know that the known universe started with a big bang. The question is what preceded it. People say things like, well, the universe is endlessly contracting and expanding. you know, it expands to reach a certain limit and then it contracts again, or there's a multiverse, an infinite number of such contracting and expanding universes. It's all silly nonsense. It's conjecture. The Quran says that they simply conjecture. They're simply making stuff up. They're just pulling stuff out of thin air. Nobody knows for sure. I mean, in a sense of, if there's no God who created everything and things just are, that doesn't make sense. And at that point, you can just make anything up. We might as well just be a little. The whole universe is just a molecule of something in a glass that some kid's holding in another universe, right? That kind of stuff, and then it goes on forever, right? And I actually just don't like that kind of thinking, my dear viewer. So right now the sun's in my back, so I know that you're seeing my silhouette, and I don't like that. So let me try something like this. But then it looks like I'm self-aggrandizing. So people who come up the way, they're gonna see me and they'll be like, my God, this guy's either filming the panorama, or, oh wait, look, he's actually filming himself talking. What could he be talking about? And then I have to go through all these convoluted mind motions and verbal gymnastics in order to appease people's innate curiosity. Hello? Anyhow, things being around forever, I wanted to talk about something else. Really what I wanted to talk about was that as an atheist, you think to yourself, wow, how is it that these people came up with something like God? How is it that they the whole thing's made up? Kya cheez hai? What's going on?
You see that little plant there in the wood?
My dad's pointing out something here. Yeah, so there's a little plant growing in the wood down there, which is... Yeah, absolutely. Chalte na. Chalte, where's Bhai? Yeah, so keep going, guys, and I'll be right there, right? So basically, when you're an atheist, you say, well, there's no reason. Okay, I'll explain it to you. There's something crucial I want to explain to you. And if I can just get one cogent thought across in each of these little vlogs, if you will, that would be worth my while. Here's the thing. Why is it that we have accepted religion? Why is it that we have accepted a certain description of God? Although he's beyond description, but we've accepted a certain kind of anthropomorphosis, in a sense, of a God who is sentient, a God who is compassionate, a God... Why did we accept all these things? Why did we accept that, there was no universe and it was created and all these kinds of things? The reason we accepted it is because of the people who told us this. People like Moses, peace be upon him, and Jesus, peace be upon him, and Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala azza wa jal be upon him and his family. These people were sublime characters. They weren't like your average everyday man. There's a reason that the majority of the world believes in a God, right? Because if it's just some guy who came up with some theory of something, so the thing that atheists unfortunately miss out on is that they don't understand. Now, if someone listens to this speech, they might say, well, it's a cult of personality in that case. But really, what I urge you to do, if you're at all interested in getting to the bottom of this thing and understanding it from a religious person's perspective, you really need to go and, from a Muslim point of view, look how beautiful this city is. Seriously, I'd lived in Vancouver for 2.5 years, my dear viewer. I'd never had any idea that it was such a gorgeous little place like this. You see islands on the other side, the water, all this kind of stuff. It's very reminiscent of Seattle. In fact, just yonder over there is in fact the States. It's Blaine, I guess. But in any case, so personalities. The personality of Imam Ali, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. Personality of the Lady Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet and the wife of Imam Ali. The peace and blessings of Allah be upon her in perpetuity. And their children, Hassan and Hussein. Those four and Prophet Muhammad make up the 5 members of the family of the household of the Prophet. The people of the household, they're called Ahlul Bayt. Bayt means house, Ahlul Bayt means people of the house. So they are paragons of virtue. They are paragons of honor, nobility, and justice, and kindness, and love. And if you read their stories, if you're an intelligent person, you'll be taken by how intelligent they are. If you're a brave and honorable person, you'll be taken by stories of courage and bravery. If you're a self-sacrificing person, you'll be taken away by. If you're a poetic person, whatever kind of person you're, whatever kind of noble virtues that inspire you the most, you will be blown away by it. So go do some Googling. Read Imam Ali's Peak of Eloquence. It's a collection of his sermons, letters, and sayings. Or read our fourth Imam, peace be upon him, wrote something called the Psalms of Islam, which is essentially a whole bunch of beautiful prayers. Those two in themselves are great. How about the sixth Imam, peace be upon him? Because 5 members of the household of the Prophet are also succeeded by 9 other Imams from the lineage of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him. So there's 14 members of the household in totality, but the 5 are the main members in the sense of Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein. In any case, our sixth Imam, peace be upon him, wrote this thing called Lantern of the Path. It's like the first self-help book in the world. It's 99 chapters, and basically it talks about things like fear of God and you know, sincerity and, you know, love of God and different things like that, truth, and then articles about such mundane things like walking and eating and how to dress and all kinds of things like that. Anyway, I'm out of battery and out of time. It's personalities. Religion is about personalities, and you need to go look some of this stuff up, because everyone can make up stories about their personal gods, like Krishna did this and Ram did that, and alright, bhai, just continue up Marine Drive, alright? Every person can make up stories about the religious figures that they revere. Oh, well, Krishna did this and Ram killed that and Buddha, you know, meditated, and you know, but all of those stories are about things and people that have taken place in the past. The beauty about the family of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon them all, subhanahu wa ta'ala azza wa jal, is that their speeches and what they have said to us is extant. You can go and read Peak of Eloquence and read the speeches of Imam Ali, peace be upon him. You can read the Psalms of Islam and the prayers, the beautiful prayers of the fourth Imam, which used to rhyme, which were full of wisdom, which were full of humility. You can go and read the Lantern of the Path by the sixth Imam. And so once again, that's the reason that we have the description of God that we do. That's the reason that we have the worldview that we do. It's not that just somebody just came up with it and told it to someone else and someone else believed it. No, there's 2 kinds of proof. Rational proof, and then there's miracles, which are basically obviously just miracles, and they create awe and they create reverence. In any case, I'm gonna go. We gotta head out of here. Our brother's wedding has taken place, thank God, and now we're going back home, and we're gonna have like a little ceremony at night, and then seeing him off tomorrow, and then back to Toronto on Friday. Over and out. Look forward to your comments.